Good morning, Taiwan, and thank you for sharing your first day of the week with us. I am Louisa here to keep you informed and entertained. 欢迎收看 Louisa 报报，每天给你最新奇、最有趣的新闻。First to news in Syria. The Western powers are watching Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's every move closely and are now questioning whether the leader will follow through with the proposed peace plan to end the bloodshed in the country, especially after the release of the amateur video, which showed that the troops are continuously shelling rebels in the city of Homs. 西方国家现在还是紧盯着 Syria 总统的行动，要看他是否真的停火。但最近又有影片传出，显示政府军还在轰炸 Homs。
Amateur video out of Syria appears to show ongoing shelling in Homs. The video, which could not be independently verified by Reuters, comes as the government says the year-long revolt to topple President Bashar al-Assad is over. But the shelling goes on. The government says it will keep its forces in cities to, quote, maintain security until it is safe to withdraw in line with a UN-backed peace deal. The agreement proposed by Special Envoy Kofi Annan says Syrian authorities must be first to withdraw troops and stop violence immediately. Syrian rebels say they are ready to stop fighting the moment the Syrian army withdraws its tanks, artillery, and heavy weapons from opposition areas. More footage shows a funeral service in Damascus. The United Nations says that more than 9,000 people have been killed since the uprising began more than a year ago. The government blames the unrest on foreign-backed militants and says around 3,000 security force members have been killed.
And to news in Myanmar, it's a day people have been waiting for. Voters have casted their ballots for the by-elections in the nation's third election in half a century on Sunday, where opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi may win a seat in the legislature after her long and arduous fight for democracy. 缅甸进行国会补选，全世界也都在关注翁山书记所领导的政党得票结果，而翁山书记也很有机会当选进入国会。
As voting got underway in Myanmar's historic by-elections, there was a slight glitch at this polling station in Yangon. The brief failure of the lighting system did not dim the enthusiasm of voters. Many see the nation's third election in half a century as a critical turning point. Its conduct is crucial to the lifting of some sanctions against the long-isolated country. As the polls opened, European Union observers said the situation appeared calm.
We are happy to see that everything is going peacefully, and we hope that that the whole day can be run in a peaceful way, and we'll make an evaluation later, of course, on the basis of all the polling stations that we will be seeing.
A total of 45 parliamentary seats are up for grabs. Pro-democracy leader Aung San Suu Kyi and her National League for Democracy party are fighting for all but one of them.
And to other news, and over the weekend, the world went dark for 1 hour for one significant purpose. Around 150 countries have participated in the biggest Earth Hour ever on Saturday, shutting off the lights for the global effort to raise awareness about climate change. 为了响应环保，有将近150个国家都参加了关灯1小时的活动，一起对抗地球暖化。
From Sydney, Australia, to Beijing's Olympic bird's nest and water cube, to Kuala Lumpur's giant twin towers, landmarks around the globe switched off their dazzling lights to mark Earth Hour. The annual event, organised by the World Wildlife Fund, is intended to focus attention on the need for action on climate change. And the fund says this year the number of nations taking part has smashed previous records.
We have 150 countries, together with 6,400 cities, participating in Earth Hour.
The big turn-off spread across Europe during the course of Saturday. France hit the off switch on the Eiffel Tower for 5 minutes. In Athens, the Parthenon was plunged into darkness. Onto the Middle East, where the world's tallest tower, Dubai's Burj Khalifa, followed suit. As the event moved on to the United States and onwards, the Empire State Building did its bit.
Too much light in New York. Someone has to do something.
But I think it's a good symbolic reference for sure.
I don't think it's a good cause, no. I have my own opinions of global warming.
Earth Hour started in 2007. Since that time, it's grown from a one-city initiative to a global movement across all 7 continents.
And the artifacts found deep in the ocean 100 years ago from the ill-fated ship Titanic will soon make its way to the auction house in New York. The entire lot, which is set to be sold together, is valued at $189 million US.Titanic 沉船100年了，这个月在纽约将会有一场 Titanic 沉船物品的拍卖会，预估将会卖到1.89亿美元。
For the first time ever, 5,500 artifacts from the RMS Titanic will be sold at auction 100 years after the ship's maiden voyage. New York-based auction house Guernsey's will be offering the complete collection of objects found at the shipwreck site 2.5 miles below the ocean surface. There were total 7 expeditions to the site over 17 years, recovering 5,500 artifacts from the wreck of the Titanic. However, even with the huge amount of artifacts being recovered, the auction house said that the collection must be sold only as a collection in its entirety. It's not being broken up into various pieces based on a court decision that took place last year. The court also deemed that the items must be properly maintained and some portions of the items must be placed on view for the public. In addition to the artifacts, data and videos from numerous recovery and fact-finding missions will be auctioned in the sale. Some of these items include 3D images of the ship, video of dives, and the first and only comprehensive survey map of the wreck site. According to the auction house president, Arlen Ettinger, this auction is considered one of the most significant and comprehensive sales of Titanic material. He said that scientists believe the ship's remains are eroding and that this collection could very well be all that will remain of the Titanic in years to come. The collection was listed at $189 million US.
And they came up with the very substantial number of $189 million. 189 million. Truly a huge number by any standard. And yet when you think about it, not long ago, a few months ago, a single painting was sold for $250 million. And the argument certainly could be made is there a painting anywhere on Earth that is more valuable than all the entire Titanic collection?
The Titanic Preservation Trust will also receive a portion of the funds from the sale in order to continue preserving the artifacts. The auction will take place on April 11th at the Intrepid Museum in New York City, nearly 1 mile from where the Titanic was supposed to dock on arrival.
And that's it for today's edition. I am Louisa Lee, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Meanwhile, stay with CTS for the latest weather update and for more news you need.